What if I told you that the most reliable support you'll have after turning 60 isn't your family, but something entirely different? It may sound odd at first. After all, we've been taught to believe that family is the safety net we can always rely on. For some, that remains true, but for many older adults, especially as we enter our 60s and beyond, the reality can be quite different. Children become preoccupied with their own lives, spouses may pass away, and friends, no matter how close they once were, may drift apart or relocate. It's not personal. It's just life, and it's a reality that nearly every senior faces sooner or later. That's why today's discussion is so crucial. We're not here to criticize family. Instead, we're here to have an honest conversation about what truly sustains you day in and day out when you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s and need strength, stability, and something you can depend on that doesn't rely on someone else showing up. We will explore 5 essential pillars that, in many cases, turn out to be more robust than family. These are the elements that quietly support you when no one is calling, when you're not invited, when you don't want to burden anyone, or when you simply wish to stand tall on your own 2 feet with peace and dignity. So stay with me, as what you're about to learn could transform your perspective on the future and provide you with a foundation to feel safer, more supported, and more secure than you have in years. Let's dive in. Pillar 1. Your physical health habits. The first pillar of support that stands stronger than family after 60 is your physical health habits. When your body is strong, when your joints still bend, your legs still walk, and your lungs still draw in air with ease, you don't just feel better, you live better. You navigate the world on your own terms. And that is one of the greatest forms of freedom. Many people assume that support means someone doing things for you, bringing groceries, driving you to appointments, or holding your hand down the stairs. But what if you didn't need someone to do those things for you? What if you could do them yourself, safely, confidently, and without second-guessing every step? That's the gift of taking care of your physical health. Not just in times of crisis, but consistently. It's the quiet investment that pays off day after day, regardless of whether someone shows up to help. I've seen it repeatedly. 2 individuals in their 70s, one who walks daily, stretches in the morning, lifts light weights, and drinks water like it's medicine, and the other who shrugs and says it's too late, spending most of the day in a recliner. Fast forward a few years, and their lives look entirely different. One still gets up with ease, showers without assistance, and can cook, clean, and even travel with minimal effort. The other requires help just to get in and out of bed. This isn't about shame. It's about truth. The small, simple habits you practice every day, walking, standing, squatting, stretching, are what keep you steady, balanced, and out of the emergency room. Most importantly, they allow you to live your life the way you want, rather than relying on others for every little thing. And here's the part no one tells you. The stronger your body is, the less afraid you are. You're not terrified of falling in the shower. You're not anxious about carrying a bag of groceries or standing too long in a checkout line. You don't decline invitations because you're scared you won't have the stamina. Physical strength reduces fear, replacing worry with capability, and that gives you power, not over others but over your own experience. The beauty is that the more you move, the more your body rewards you. Joints loosen, muscles strengthen, digestion improves, sleep deepens, and confidence begins to rebuild. One step, one breath, one small victory at a time. When you prioritize your physical health habits, regardless of your age, you build something incredibly rare in this world. Reliable support that doesn't vanish. Your body may age, but it doesn't have to collapse. It can adapt, strengthen, and show up for you if you show up for it. So before you rely on someone else to help you up, ensure you've done your part to stay standing. Your independence may depend on it more than you realize. Pillar 2. A daily sense of purpose. The second pillar that can become even more supportive than family after 60 is a daily sense of purpose. Not a lifelong mission or a grand legacy project, but a reason to get up in the morning that belongs entirely to you. It's quiet, personal, and strong enough to pull you forward when the rest of the world seems to pass you by. When we're younger, our purpose is often defined by others. We raise children, work jobs, and care for aging parents. We're constantly needed, scheduled, and serving. But once the calendar empties and the house grows quiet, something unsettling can happen. You wake up one day and wonder, What now? If that question goes unanswered, it can slowly erode your spirit. That's why purpose becomes one of the most critical forms of emotional support in our later years. It gives structure to your day, meaning to your efforts, and dignity to your decisions. It tells your mind and heart, I still matter, I still contribute, I still have something to offer. Without it, even the most loving family can't fill that void. The truth is, your purpose doesn't have to be flashy or world-changing. It just has to be real. For some, it's a daily walk to pick up litter and keep their neighborhood clean. For others, it's tending a small garden, writing letters, feeding birds, or checking on a neighbor. I once knew a 74-year-old man named Harold who woke up every morning to bake muffins and drop them off at the senior center down the street. He said, "It gives me something to do, and I like seeing people smile. That's purpose." Here's the psychological truth. When you stop feeling useful, your body starts to agree. Studies have shown that seniors with a sense of daily purpose have lower rates of depression, better cognitive function, and even improved heart health. When your mind has a reason to stay engaged, your body follows. Purpose becomes a compass, and without it, many drift. So ask yourself, what gives me meaning today? Not someday or 5 years from now, but today. What lifts your spirit? What pulls you forward? If you don't know yet, that's okay. Start small, try new things, listen to your heart, and see what stirs within you when you allow yourself to be needed again. By a task, a hobby, a community, or even a single other person. Once you find it and keep showing up for it, it becomes like a steady light inside you. On days when no one calls and you feel like you're just floating through life, that light keeps you grounded. That's real support, and it's something no family member can create for you. You must create it for yourself. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move on. Pillar 3. Meaningful chosen community. The third pillar, support after 60, often more dependable than even family, is the community you choose. Not the one you were born into or the one that happens by default, but the one you intentionally build, nurture, and show up for day after day. Even if it starts with just one person, there's something profoundly different between being surrounded by people and actually feeling connected. Some seniors live with family and still feel invisible, while others live alone but feel deeply seen by friends, neighbors, or even a small group they meet every Thursday for coffee. That's the power of a chosen community. It's not based on obligation or blood. It's based on mutual respect, shared values, and consistency. Most importantly, it's something you control. As we age, our social circles naturally shrink. People move, friends pass away, and kids build their own lives. If we don't actively replenish that circle with meaningful connections, isolation can creep in before we even realize it. But here's what most people don't discuss. Loneliness isn't just emotional. It's physical. It affects your immune system, heart health, and even your memory. Researchers have stated that it's as damaging to the body as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. That's how vital connection is. But connection doesn't mean constant chatter or hosting dinner parties every week. It can be quiet and simple. Sometimes it's just a warm nod to the cashier who knows your name, or sitting on the same park bench where another regular greets you. It can be a church group, a knitting circle, or a few folks who meet for board games. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be yours. I once knew a woman named Carol, 68, who said the loneliest she ever felt was not when she was living alone, but when she moved in with her daughter and son-in-law. I was physically there, but emotionally I didn't belong, she said. They were busy with work, but she felt just present. She later joined a community group, a handful of seniors who walked 2 miles together every morning. She said, "They became my people." She laughed more in that group than she had in years. That's the power of a chosen community. One of the most dangerous traps seniors fall into is believing that if family isn't calling or visiting, they're just stuck being alone. But connection doesn't have to come through family. In fact, it often doesn't. You have every right to build a new circle, even at 70, 75, or 80. You are not too old to start. You are not too late to matter. The truth is, there are more lonely people out there than you think, just waiting for someone like you to say hello. So here's the simple truth. A chosen community may not tuck you in at night, but it reminds you that you're alive. It's the smile at the pharmacy, the neighbor who brings you soup, the friend who says, "Same time next week." It's the rhythm of shared moments that create belonging, not through blood, but through intention. Family is wonderful when it shows up, but the community you build is often the one that stays. It doesn't care about inheritance or obligation. It just wants to see you smile. That kind of support, my friend, is not only real, it's renewable every day by choice. Pillar 4. A resilient and self-renewing mindset. Now let's discuss the fourth pillar, which is often overlooked, even though it quietly influences every other aspect of your life after 60. One of the strongest forms of support isn't a person or a thing. It's your mindset. And no, I'm not just talking about being positive or thinking happy thoughts. I mean the deep internal resilience that allows you to face loss, change, and uncertainty and still get up the next day with purpose. Here's the truth most people don't tell you. Aging isn't just a physical journey. It's a psychological one. Your body may slow down, but your thoughts and attitude are still yours to steer. When you've lived long enough to witness friends pass, routines dissolve, and roles disappear, you realize that emotional strength doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. It comes from adapting, processing, and deciding every morning to participate in your life. A resilient mindset is what enables you to cope, but more importantly, to recover. It makes the difference between someone who says, "Everything's falling apart," and someone who says, "This is tough, but I can figure it out." That difference may seem subtle, but over time, it shapes your entire reality. The way you perceive your world determines how you show up in it. I knew a man named Walter who was 77 when his wife passed away. He told me, "At first, I didn't know who I was without her. We'd been married for 52 years. I thought, well, that's it. That was the best part of my story." But after a few months of silence, he began doing one small thing each day. Just one. Watering the flowers, calling an old friend. Little by little, he said, I remembered I was still here. That's the kind of mindset I'm referring to. Not a denial of pain, but a gradual return to life, one step at a time. There's a powerful study that followed older adults for over a decade. The individuals who lived the longest didn't have the most money, the biggest families, or the fewest health issues. They all shared one thing in common. They believed their future still mattered, that they still had something to offer, something to experience. That belief alone added years, not just to their lifespan, but to their sense of aliveness. And here's where it gets even more real. A strong mindset isn't about always being upbeat. It's about staying engaged, willing to learn, even if your hands shake while holding the book. Willing to grow, even if it means letting go of old habits, and willing to feel, even if it hurts. That kind of mindset isn't flashy, but it's powerful, protecting you from the invisible dangers of aging, like hopelessness, helplessness, and disconnection. When you build this pillar within yourself, you become a source of strength, not just for yourself but for others. Your grandkids see you still reading, still walking, still laughing, still trying. And it teaches them something that can't be found in textbooks. How to endure with grace. That's not just power, that's freedom. And that freedom might just be the strongest support you'll ever have. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move on. Pillar 5. A sense of purpose that outlives expectations. Here's a truth that resonates more deeply as we age. After 60, the world stops asking what you want to become. Most people assume your story is already written, your purpose already spent. But that's precisely why this 5th pillar is so vital. A sense of purpose, one that's self-chosen, not assigned by others, isn't just comforting, it's life-extending. Let's explore what that really means. Purpose isn't about a job title or a grand mission. It doesn't have to be dramatic or public. Sometimes purpose is as simple as being the one who checks in on a lonely neighbor, being the keeper of family recipes, or remembering the birthdays of those who have forgotten their own. These roles may seem small, but for those living them, they offer structure, meaning, and dignity. When we lose a sense of purpose, something inside us begins to unravel. The days blur, motivation dries up, and our connection to the world fades. This isn't just emotional. It's biological. Studies have shown that seniors with a strong sense of purpose sleep better, have lower rates of stroke, and are significantly more likely to live longer. Why? Because purpose gives the brain a reason to keep firing, the body a reason to move, and the soul a reason to stay awake. I once met a woman named Helen, 82, who made quilts for children entering foster care. She didn't do it for praise or recognition. In fact, very few people even knew she was doing it. She said, "When I sew, I feel useful, and when I imagine those kids holding something soft that says, 'You matter,' it reminds me that I still matter too." That right there is what we're talking about. Purpose isn't about what the world thinks of you. It's about what you know you're here to do. Let's be honest. After a certain age, family may not lean on you the same way they once did. Your kids have their own lives, your spouse may be gone, and old friends may not call as often. While that can feel lonely, it can also be freeing because now you get to build your purpose on your own terms. You're no longer working to prove anything. You're creating something because it matters to you. That's power. Some might say, "But I don't have a purpose anymore. I'm too old to start something new." To that I say, nonsense. Your purpose doesn't have to be new. It just has to be real. Maybe it's writing letters, planting flowers, mentoring someone younger, or sharing your story so that someone else feels less alone. If it ignites something in you and helps someone else, it counts. Remember, purpose can evolve. What was meaningful to you at 40 may not fuel you now, and that's normal. The goal isn't to cling to the old version of yourself. It's to listen for what's calling you now. What draws your attention? What gives you that quiet satisfaction, that sense of contribution? That's where your purpose lives today. So let's be very clear. This fifth pillar is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Without a sense of purpose, it becomes dangerously easy to drift. But with it, even the simplest moments become charged with meaning. Your presence matters, your actions matter, and the world, whether it acknowledges it or not, still needs you. If you're feeling a little lost right now, I understand, but don't give up on the idea that something beautiful still wants to grow through you. Nurture it with your attention, tend to it with your time, and trust that it can still blossom no matter your age. That quiet flame inside, that's your purpose. Protect it, let it guide you, because after 60, the world may not always show up for you, but your sense of purpose is the one support that never stops being there for you. It grows when you grow, it stays when others walk away, and it reminds you every single day that you still matter. Final thoughts. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you for walking this path with me. What we've discussed today isn't easy. It's not flashy, and it's not something most people will bring up over coffee, but it's real. And for those of us who've lived enough life to understand what matters and what doesn't, it might just be the most important conversation of all. When we're young, support seems automatic. You've got parents, siblings, friends, co-workers, and spouses. You're part of something. But after 60, that scaffolding starts to change. People move away, loved ones pass on, and priorities shift. Suddenly, many of the things you once leaned on are gone. That's why waiting for support to arrive on its own just doesn't work anymore. At this stage of life, support isn't something that happens to you. It's something you build. The pillars we've discussed today, self-reliance, health discipline, financial awareness, community bonds, and a strong sense of purpose, aren't just nice to have. They are essential. They are the quiet forces that hold you up when things around you start to crumble. They may not always get the spotlight. They may not show up on holiday cards or family trees, but they are yours, built by you, sustained by you. And there's something profoundly empowering about that. Because here's the truth. Most people never say out loud, family is wonderful until it isn't. Depending too heavily on anyone, even those you love deeply, can backfire. It's not about bitterness or cynicism. It's about reality. people change and when.